Okay, so let's dive into a concept from marketing professor Alexander Chernev that honestly gets to the heart of a frustration every single person in business has felt. We're talking about that mysterious, sometimes infuriating gap between a customer deciding they want to buy something and them actually handing over the money. It's this critical space where sales are either won or, all too often, lost. And today we're going to break down exactly how to bridge it.
You know the feeling, right? A customer seems totally sold. They've said yes, it feels like a done deal, a sure thing, and then, poof, they're gone. They just disappear. Why does that happen? And maybe more importantly, what on earth can we do to stop it from happening? Well, that's the big question we're tackling.
So before we jump into the solutions, we've got to really understand the problem. We need to define it. And in customer science, this phenomenon has a name. It's called the choice purchase gap. This is that critical and often dangerous territory where a customer's best intentions can completely fall apart. At its most basic, the choice purchase gap is all about the delay. It's the time and all the hurdles that can pop up between a customer thinking, yep, I'm getting that, and the moment they actually click buy or swipe their card. And you might be surprised at just how long this gap can be. We're not always talking about minutes or hours.
I mean, check this out. This quote just perfectly illustrates the extreme end of this. Think about it. Someone decides as a teenager, one day, I'm going to own a Porsche. But that actual sale might not happen for decades. That is an incredible amount of time for that original desire to survive, or for something to get in its way and kill the deal.
And this timeline just lays it all out so clearly. That initial spark, that I want a Porsche 911 moment, has to battle its way through years and years of real life. First, you're a young adult. You don't have the money. Then, you're in midlife. You need a minivan for the kids. For that sale to finally happen when you're 50 plus, that original choice had to be unbelievably resilient.
So if this gap can stretch on for decades, or even just for a few days, what's actually going on in that time? Let's dig into the real-world obstacles that are constantly trying to derail a customer's journey from making a choice to making a purchase.
First off, you've got the market itself. It's just noisy. Your customer's attention is under constant assault. While they're waiting to buy your product, your competitors are hitting them with special deals, flashy new models, limited editions, and, really persuasive ads. It's a nonstop battle just to stay top of mind.
And then, oh boy, there's the massive power of social influence. All it takes is one glowing recommendation from a trusted friend for a totally different brand, or a flood of amazing online reviews for a competitor, and suddenly doubt creeps in. And that fear of missing out, that FOMO, is a real powerful force that can pull people in a completely new direction.
And finally, there are all the personal things that we just can't predict. A customer's financial situation can change overnight. Their personal tastes might evolve, or a sudden urgent need pops up that forces them to grab a different, more convenient option. Life happens, and it happens right in the middle of that choice purchase gap. Okay, so this is the crucial question, right? Faced with all of these obstacles, all this noise, how do we actually help our customers get across that finish line? Well, the answer isn't about being pushy or using force. It's about an elegant and, frankly, incredibly effective strategy called nudging. Nudging is really all about making the path you want your customer to take the easiest and most natural one. You're not taking away their other options. You're not forcing their hand. You are simply and suddenly guiding them, making it just a little bit easier for them to follow through on a choice they've already made. Now, it's really helpful to break nudging down into two key types. First, you have decision nudging. This is all about influencing the what a customer chooses in the first place. Then you have behavioral nudging, and that's all about triggering the when, getting them to finally complete the action they already decided on. So how do you actually do decision nudging? Well, the main tool in your toolbox is a fascinating concept called choice architecture. It's basically the art and science of designing the environment where someone makes a decision to make certain outcomes more likely to happen. And you see this in action everywhere, even if you don't realize it. Putting the healthy stuff at eye level in a cafeteria, that's choice architecture. Putting all the fresh fruit right at the entrance of the grocery store, same thing. These aren't accidents. They're deliberate designs to nudge us. The separate dessert menu is another brilliant one. It keeps you from seeing a delicious cake and deciding to skip the appetizer.
Okay, let's walk through this classic wine menu example because it's so simple and so smart. The design is easy. You put the wine you really want to sell as the second cheapest option. So what happens? Well, psychologically, most of us don't want to look cheap by ordering the absolute bottom of the barrel wine, but we also don't want to break the bank. So that second spot, it becomes the comfortable, safe, sweet spot. And boom, sales for that wine shoot up. That is a perfect, elegant nudge.
All right, so once you've used choice architecture to help guide your customer's decision, whether it's the wine, a new pair of shoes, whatever, you then shift to behavioral nudges. These are those little final pushes, things like that simple email reminder that says, hey, you left something in your shopping cart. They're designed to close that last little bit of the gap and turn a choice into a real purchase. So let's bring all of this together. We've defined this tricky gap, we've looked at all the obstacles that live inside it, and we've explored this powerful, subtle art of nudging as the way to solve it.
And this really is the most important thing to take away from all this. Look, you can't control what your competitors are going to do next week. You can't control the economy or your customers' personal finances. But you can control the environment where they make their decisions. You can be the architect of their journey, making it as smooth and seamless as possible for them to follow through. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Where is the biggest leak in your business's choice purchase gap? Where are you seeing customers get really interested but then just fall off the map? Finding that point of friction, that's the absolute first step to designing the perfect nudge to fix it. Thanks for tuning in.